Coach, if you just want to start by sharing a little bit about what you saw out there today, and once again, any individual performances you want to highlight, that'd be great. Thanks.
Yeah, I think it was a good exercise for our group. Um, Probably from the lineups, you can see that ourselves and I think DC we're working through a couple different variations of things and partnerships. So I don't think we put a lot of stock in the score line. Also, the segments were 45 minutes, 30 minutes with a lot of changes. So what our focus was on the performance and some of the things that we've been working on here, leading us into the home opener. And I think we walk away satisfied is the best way to say it. I think what we did show is for the entire 120 minutes, regardless of whose number was called, we were able to meet the objectives and play the way we wanted to play. Uh, and that was from the group that started the game through the substitutions, and even again a great testament to the club alignment that we're trying to build here, having three Huntsville guys come up and play as well. uh, didn't miss a beat. So really a complete performance for the entire club.
Thanks, Coach. So we'll go ahead and open up to questions, starting with Ben.
Yeah, BJ. You kind of mentioned some of the different partnerships and rotations that you guys were looking at. I'm curious, there were a few guys like Hani and Sam who didn't play. Was that more like a minute workload type thing, or were there any like injury concerns with those guys?
Yeah, a lot of what we're dealing with now, Ben, is just making like almost individualizing some plans here to make sure guys are fresh and prepared to actually train the week leading into the week leading into the New England game. So for us, there's a lot of those. A lot of what you saw there is that, I mean, I don't want to use the term like load management, but each guy's now we're at the tail end of a preseason, and each player we're sort of managing on an individual basis so that we can try to field the strongest, healthiest, and uh, most complete team that we can when we open at home.
Go ahead, Ben, if you have another, and then we'll go to Nick after that.
Yeah, I wanted to ask a couple of guys. You mentioned some of the Huntsville guys who came up and played. Wyatt Meyer started, and it seems like he's played a lot this preseason. And then Ethan O'Brien is another one who's I think officially signed to Huntsville, but he's been with you guys. Um, Obviously, it's pretty late in the preseason, so I'm just curious what your plans are for those two specifically, and if you feel like they'll be involved with the first team once that season actually starts.
Yeah, I think a guy specifically to Ethan O'Brien. He's a guy that we think has done really well at Huntsville. The future of him for this season is because of his under contract with Huntsville. I think he'll start there and play there. Wyatt is a guy that we obviously drafted two drafts ago. Went back to college, so he's a player that we think really highly of, and we are trying to give him as much opportunity to earn a professional contract, whether it's with the first team or Huntsville. And so I think it's a fair way to try to evaluate him, and giving him basically a 75-minute stint here. I think is a great way for us to get a full evaluation of where he fits in our roster, and kind of take it from there.
Go ahead, Nick.
Yeah, BJ, going into today, I saw, I guess, the last 30 minutes looking here on Twitter from the NSC page. You had Gio Migletti in the lineup. Just your evaluation of him and what you've seen of him so far this camp.
Yeah, I mean, Gio came in and was a real, I would say, brought a lot of energy into the group. And he's a guy who wants to aggressively press. So I think that was a great, when I say a boost of energy for the team at that 30-minute sort of period. And he's a guy who crashes into the penalty box hard, and really is puts defenders under stress. So I thought in the time that he was given, he was really able to make an impact for us. And again, I continue to say, because we're asking, because we have alignment in the club, and we're all trying to sort of play the same way, and have similar player profiles on our team. I think it sets players like Gio up today to have success inside when he moves from Huntsville to Nashville. It allows a player to have success because he already knows what he's asked to do, and now it's just to do it, maybe performing it at a little bit of a higher level and something that's maybe just at a little bit of a faster pace.
You also mentioned about just Gio crashing the net and so forth. Out of the 4 goals today, how many of those were set pieces?
Oh man, I don't think any were set pieces. I think 4 goals were out of the run of play. Now you're asking me to go back and remember 120 minutes. Yeah,
Sorry, there's just no video of it.
No, understand. I understand. So all 4 were out of the run of play.
And Nick will share around highlights of most, if not all, the goals here a little bit later. You'll have that, and if you have any questions, let me know. Go ahead, Jacob, James.
Yeah, BJ, sorry I got here a little bit late, so I don't know if something like this has already been asked, but I see, 4 goals today, and, 4 of them scored, all of them scored by 4 different players on this team. So I guess, how encouraging is that for you as a coach to see kind of that balance scoring?
Yeah, I think I started off, Jacob, kind of with the idea is we're not really focused on like 4 goals. The way the game is kind of broken down was 45, 45, and 30. So the end of the 90-minute period was 2-1. And so, but we were really happy that everybody that played, all the groups that were partnered together, really looked like how we want to, some of the things that we've been working on here in preseason. So the performance was what we're really happy, and what we understand is when we put in good group performances, individual accolades come, and having 4 individuals be beneficiaries of a good team performance is always great. But we're very, we're always focused, and even here towards the tail end of preseason, we're focused on making sure that we're putting complete team performances together.
Go ahead, Jacob, if you have another.
Yeah, and I wanted to ask about Jason Palacios as center back. I understand coming into Nashville, it had been a while since he had gotten a ton of playing time. And I guess I'm kind of wondering what you see his role as on defense as the season starts.
Yeah, I mean, I think he's going to be a contributor to our team. We're bringing him along nicely. You're right. From the last time that he played till the point that he showed up was a while. So we know this is a long season, and we want to, we want to bring players along properly. There's also an adaptation period for him coming to a new country and sort of learning our way of playing. But you saw today that he was able to, he played 45 minutes, played really well. So we expect him to be a contributing player on the back line, and also, as we always say, create competition in the group. And if we can create good, healthy competition in the group, everybody will, I think everybody will raise their game.